Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making a chocolate delight. Listen, I have no idea what the name of this is. It's something my grandmother made my entire life. I've added my own spin to it and we've never named it. But y'all, one thing I can tell you, it is delicious. Now it starts with a shortbread crust. It is just amazing. Now this is salted butter. And I'm gonna save the butter wrapper to grease my pie pan with. So don't throw that away. Next, I'm adding a cup and a quarter cup of all-purpose white lily flour. And I'm also adding a quarter cup of cornstarch. This is gonna help the crust become even more flaky and delicious. The cornstarch just really makes a huge difference. And that's going right in. And last, I've got a quarter cup of confectioner sugar. Now this is not going to be a sweet crust, but we do just want a little hint of sweetness in there. Now I am just gonna give this a little bit of a head start and just work that butter into these dry ingredients. Now, you can definitely use a mixer for this step if you'd like. I don't blame you one bit, but I just didn't want to drag out my mixer today, so I'm doing it by hand. Now, I also have some chopped pecans for this, and I'm adding a cup. I have this adorable little pecan chopper. You can use it for any kind of nut, and you just turn this handle, and voila, you have the perfect sized chopped nuts. I love this thing. Now this holds a little bit more than a cup and those are going right in. The pecans really make this recipe so good. Now I'm going to keep mixing just until this is nicely blended together. This is looking just right. See how it's nice and crumbly? Now, if you use the mixer for this shortbread, it's gonna stick together a little bit more, but don't worry about it. It's fine either way because I'll show you what we're gonna do next. I have a pie plate here. Now you can also make this in an 8x8 square glass pan. That's the way my grandmother always made it, but I like the pie plate. I think it's a little bit fancier, and I always say never underestimate the power of pretty. Now, in this goes. It kind of comes together like a graham cracker crust. And I'm going to take my measuring cup and I'm going to even this out just like you would a graham cracker crust. And I'm going to start pressing this shortbread dough into my pie crust. And now I'm going to take my fingers for the rest of the way. And I'm going to press in the sides, just kind of loosely. You don't have to press it really hard. And we're good to go. Now I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees and this is going to go in for about 15 to 20 minutes. You just want to make sure that the top of the crust is a nice and golden brown. Now for the filling. Now this is kind of the shortcut filling and where I put my spin on things. My grandmother always used just an instant chocolate pudding, but I'm using the cook and serve and I'm vamping it up quite a bit. Now this is a 5-ounce box of your chocolate cook and serve Jello pudding mix. And I'm adding 1 3/4 cup of milk, and that's going right into my heavy bottom saucepan. Super important, you want to use a heavy bottom in this case. And I'm also using a cup of heavy cream, you know, heavy all the way. This cream is going to make this chocolate dessert so decadent and so rich and so creamy. Let me just go ahead and give this a good stir and get that mixed up before we go on to our next step. Now I'm adding more chocolate to this chocolate dessert. I have got some baker's chocolate. This is unsweetened. This is full of flavor, and I'm adding 1 ounce, which is 4 of these little squares. So I'm just gonna cut that off. I'm just dropping these right in. Now they'll melt faster if you'll go to the trouble of just giving it a fine chop, but you know what? It will melt the same. Either way, it just might take a minute longer. Now, because that is an unsweetened chocolate, we want to give it a little bit more sugar. So I'm adding a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. And one more thing that makes it mo better is butter. I'm using a tablespoon of butter. It's gonna give this so much flavor. It's gonna make it glossy and creamy and delicious. Now I'm gonna keep my heat on a medium-high heat, and this is where you do not want to walk away. About 5 minutes, we're gonna have the most delicious chocolate filling ever. Look at this gorgeous chocolate filling. Oh my goodness, y'all. I can smell it. It smells amazing. My shortbread crust is about to come out of the oven, and it's perfect timing. Look at our beautiful crust. Y'all, this smells so good. I could eat this crust all by itself, but it's even better with this chocolate filling. Now, I have just been letting this filling sit for just a few minutes while my pie crust was finishing, and it's cool enough to add some vanilla, and I'm adding a teaspoon. You want to let it cool just a minute or two before you add the vanilla so it doesn't cook out all of the flavoring. All right, now one of the great things about this cooked pudding and this cooked crust is that we don't have to wait for anything to cool to pour it in. And here we go. This just looks beautiful. Now this needs to cool completely, and what I'm gonna do is put a little bit of this cling wrap on my pudding so that it doesn't form a film on top. Now I'm gonna let this cool until it comes to room temperature. If I put it in the refrigerator right now, it's gonna form a lot of condensation. So I want it to cool naturally. Once it does, this is going into the refrigerator. It's best to make this the day ahead if you can, or at least a few hours ahead so that it has time to do its thing. And once it does, we're gonna go to the last and final step. The time has finally come for me to top this pie. Now, I really haven't let it cool the time that it needed to, so I am going to hope for the best because I couldn't wait another minute. Now, I'm pulling this plastic off. Look how easy it comes off. It doesn't stick. It just helps to smooth that top out. And it's still a little bit loose because I didn't allow it to cool as long as I should have. Like I said, it's better overnight, y'all, but I've never been known for my patience. Now we've got a whole cup of heavy cream in this pie, so I'm going on the light side and topping this with just some Cool Whip. Now, if you'd like to make some homemade whipped cream, then please, by all means, do that. But this actually is really good, and I like using the extra creamy. And the entire container is going on top, every bit of that. And I'm just going to take my spoon, and the best way to do this is just kind of take the back of your spoon and create those pretty little swirls. And that look good, but we're not stopping there. I'm a firm believer in letting everyone know what's on the inside of the pie. You'll notice that I didn't bring the whipped topping all the way to the edges because I want that chocolate and that shortbread crust to peek through. Now, well, I just had one of those fun technical difficulties and lost the last part of my video. So I'm going to have to talk you through it. I added a few more of these chipped pecans. I'm a firm believer in just letting everybody know what's inside the pie. If you don't like pecans, then you can see them and you won't be surprised when you bite into them. And I also made some chocolate curls to go on top. And I've just taken a Hershey's bar and I'm taking a potato peeler and I am just making some chocolate curls. Yum. Now I've already done one taste test, but I will have to say this is the part that I don't mind at all, and that is showing you another. I was just about to take a picture and I saw that my camera stopped recording, so here we go. Y'all, this is so good. That bite was just as good as my first one. The richness of the chocolate is so delicious. No one would ever know that this is a boxed pudding mix. And then adding the baker's chocolate and the heavy cream just gave this a whole new richness and feel to it. It doesn't taste packaged at all. And then, of course, the shortbread crust. It gives it so much texture and flavor. Y'all, it still tastes like my childhood. My grandmother would be proud that I'm still making this. And I think she'd also love the little additions that I've made. You're a blessing. Thanks so much for watching today. Will you do a favor for me? Will you like this video, comment? I love hearing from you, and also share. And if you're not already, make sure you're following me at Kathy's Southern Kitchen on Facebook and YouTube. All right, well, I'm going to go get the picture that I wanted, but not until I have one more bite. See you next time. Bye.